Hello and welcome to Crucible of Words for yet more dedicated legacy action. To continue with our Depthcember theme, we're playing another Dark Depths deck. This is one I've actually played before on the channel. This is monogreen Cloudpost. This version slightly differs from the one I played previously, but essentially what we're trying to do is generate a load of mana using Cloudpost, Glimmerpost, Thespian Sage, Vesuva to power out things like the big Eldrazi. So we're hoping to hardcast these and go over the top. So that's basically our game plan, but to back this up, we've also got a Dark Depths plan. We only have one Dark Depths, so it's not necessarily the most intensive of Depthcember, but it still counts. So we have one Dark Depths that we can go in 2 to 4. We've got a few useful lands in here, like Glacial Chasm that can keep us alive, Eye of Ugin, which can find our big guys, a Bojuka Bog, a Boseiju, a Cavern of Souls, Yavimaya, so we can get all our green mana. So kind of what you'd expect from a deck like this, really. We got some Once Upon a Time to smooth out our draws, which can find us lands, which are important to us, as well as creatures, which can be Elvish Reclaimers or some of our singletons here. These singletons are mostly going to be found using Green Sun Zenith, which really ties the whole deck together. Allows us to get Elvish Reclaimer out early. It allows us to get Ramunap Excavator to play things out of the graveyard. It can get us a Reclamation Sage and Endurance. Now, one thing that is absent from this deck list, which surprises me, is Dryad Arbor. I can't see a Dryad Arbor anywhere in this list, which is unusual to me because you normally want that with Green Sun Zenith because it does give you a turn 1 play with your Green Sun Zenith. So maybe that's something that this deck could do with. I don't know. Haven't played it yet. We also have the Tabernacle in here. I think the Reclamation Sage might be taking up that slot. So generally what we're going to be doing is playing Pithing Needle, naming Wasteland, and then playing some lands out and then going big over the top of people with things like Primeval Titan into big Eldrazi. So if you cast these, we're probably going to be winning the game, and we can Karakas bounce and reset them to get the come into play, to get the cast triggers if we want them. We've got crop rotation to kind of tie it all together. Pretty self-explanatory. Onto the sideboard. We've got 4 Carpet Flowers for island decks. This is just a way of getting free mana to help us cast our big spells. We have 4 Mindbreak Trap because Storm is a thing that will probably crush us quite hard if we don't have these. Endurance is Graveyard Hate. I'm not convinced Endurance is good enough Graveyard Hate against Reanimator, but it's very good against things like Delver. So it's kind of doing multiple duties. It's not dedicated Reanimator Hate. And we got 4 Force of Vigor because, unsurprisingly, Blood Moon is not our friend. Although we can definitely win through a Blood Moon by getting our forests out and just casting a Primeval Titan, which is usually bigger than the creatures that Legacy deals with anyway. But Force of Vigor is kind of essential, and we have loads of green cards to pitch to it. That's pretty much it. I've played this before. If you want to have a look at deck tech going a little bit more in depth, perhaps you can scroll back and have a look at that one. It's quite a good fun league, which is why I'm playing it again. I think the deck's cool, and this version gets to play Kozilek, which the other one didn't. I quite like having another 10 mana play, and also this shuffles in, so it's very good against Painter, which is on the rise at the moment. So yeah, let's jam and see how we do in this Legacy League. But just before we do that, why not scroll down and hit that subscribe button? It's free for you to subscribe, and it helps me a lot. Likes and comments also welcome. All right, let's jump into a league. We're on the play for round 1, and we can make a lot of mana with this hand. So I think we've got to keep it. It does the thing we want to do. It should be pretty good against fair decks, but not so good against unfair decks. But that's kind of where we sit with this deck quite often. We don't have to play out the Once Upon a Time just yet. We can get a little bit more information about what our opponent's deck is, so we can work out which creature we want in case we have an option. We can also work out what lands we're drawing, which can change things too. Rishdam Port. Okay. Into an Ether Vial. Sure. This speaks to Death and Taxes. They are also a Yorion deck. A Reclamation Sage. I think we will cast this for free now. And see. This is a little bit of a tricky one. I'd have liked this Pithing Needle, to be perfectly honest. We don't have the second green for the Primeval Titan. I think we might just want the Reclaimer. We can thread that out soon. We're going to Vesuva now and get ourselves a copy of the Cloudpost whilst we still can, because if they wasteland this, we won't have another Cloudpost to use. Now they need 2 wastelands to shut down our Cloudposts. Stoneforge Mystic, sure. Cauldron Complete. We can race a Cauldron Complete here. So what is the play here? So if we play out a Glimmerpost, this is 3, 6, 7 mana. So if we play an Eye of Ugin, we can then 2 or 4 things off of it next turn. That seems pretty good. Alternatively, we could cast Reclamation Sage and blow up their Ether Vial this turn. Also seems pretty good. We can play out the Glimmer Void. Just get ahead mana-wise. This also means that if we just draw an Eldrazi, we can go, and our opponent is in a horrible choice where they can't really play the Stoneforge Mystic ability here without letting us untap with a ridiculous amount of mana. So what of these is going to be best here? I don't hate the Yavimaya. Also don't hate the Glacial Chasm, since they've shown us they don't have a Wasteland, because I think you burn that off early if you do. Cavern of Souls doesn't do anything here. I don't think this is a Dark Depths game. We could just get another Glimmerpost. We already have Glimmerpost coming out of our ears. So maybe the play here is just to get the Glacial Chasm, then if anything goes wrong, then we're kind of covered. We already have the land drops we want to make anyway. I think that's fine. Okay, so they're just going to put the Cauldron, which means we're going to untap with the full might of our Cloudpost here. And this doesn't really do enough damage to combat what we're planning on doing over the next few turns. Or the next turn they can Rush Down Port us down, so we need to make sure we have enough mana to avoid that. So if we lose this, that's 4, 5, 6 mana. So it won't be enough to crack our Eye of Ugin to cast our bits and pieces. Let's see what we draw. So we have a Pithing Needle. So this is pretty good for us. We can... This is 3, 6, 7 mana exactly here. So if we play out Pithing Needle, this can name Rush Down Port. Then we can play this out, which gives us way more mana. Alternatively, this turn we can play out the Forest first and we can smash up their Ether Vial now, which I think is quite important. So we could have used this 1 mana there, so we're not being very mana efficient. We can't blow up Cauldron because it's indestructible, but we can take this out. And next turn we can Reclaimer and Eye of Ugin, and then the turn after we can play any massive creature from our deck that we want. It's a pretty good spot to be in, I think. Another Ether Vial, not very exciting. A Karakas. Okay, that doesn't really impact our plan because the things we get, the cast triggers are going to be so savage. If they want to bounce it, and that's fine for us. We will not block this turn. We'll only present 1 damage because there's trample. It's not that good. Recruiter of the Guard. Okay, so we get to see what their solution to this setup we have is. Have to imagine it's going to be some sort of Flicker Wisp type thing, maybe. A Solitude. Okay, that's fine. Be a good turn to just draw a big Eldrazi, but... Okay, so I think we play out our Elvish Reclaimer. This is 3, 6, 7. So we'll play this out, and then we can shoot for a big boy, and then the turn after we get to exile a load of permanents. We'll probably get an Ulamog. So 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you have enough mana for the Ulamog. If we play this, it gives us plus 1, 2, 3 mana. That's not quite enough still. They can attack us for 5 here. That's fine by me. 3, so 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 is the most mana we can produce next turn. Unless we cycle this into... No, that's cost neutral, isn't it? 3, 6, 7. So this time we just get the Ulamog, I think. And we untap. Make a massive guy. Play this out. Gains us a bunch of more life. So we can tap these 2 to cast this guy. Because he only costs 10 because of this. So we'll exile there. Cauldron complete. And... What else do we exile here? We're pretty happy for them to Karakas our Ulamog here. Let me just hit the Ether Vial. So if they want to bounce this, they're welcome to do that. And then this turn, I think we make an Elvish Reclaimer. And we can turn one of these Glimmerposts into a Cloudpost next turn if we feel so inclined. Now they can exile this with the Solitude in their hand, but we're going to gain loads of life if they do that. And we can just tutor up more and more guys with the Eye of Ugin. So if this time we turn a Glimmerpost... Okay, so they had a Swords. Sure, that's fine. So if this turn, if we tutor up a Cloudpost, maybe instead of this Forest, we can get a load more mana. So it'd be 5, each one would be 5, so 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, Okay. Yorion is fine. So they get some value here, but I'm not sure how much value is going to be worth in the face of more Eldrazi's. So we can see what they get before we shoot it from another land, just in case there's some random thing they get off of the Recruit of the Guard. Okay, so what's Stoneforge finding? Oh, Batterskull. Sure, we outdamage a Batterskull. And a Flicker Wisp. I think we sacrifice our forest. Go and get ourselves another Cloudpost. So this is 5, 6, 7. So we can cast a 12 mana Eldrazi. So we can go, that's 10 mana. We can go and cast Ulamog this turn. Seems pretty good. Let's draw some cards. Seems like a lot of good things. So we can deal with the Karakas on the Yorion if we want to this turn. I think we just play out another Cloudpost so we can go and get an Emrakul next turn. Play this out on the Karakas so that our opponent can't loop their Yorion and keep finding really good things. So, or are we supposed to name Wasteland here? Just in case they get rid of our Eye of Ugin, actually. That's probably worth doing. We don't have green mana, so we can't cast any of the other things. But we can instant speed, use our endurance. Not that we really have anything good to do with that. We're back up to 22 life. We've got a 12-12 Annihilator form. We're about to tutor ourselves a 15-15 that buys us an extra turn. So we can infinite turn lock them next turn as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 6, 12, 18, 24. So 7 of that gets us a new guy, which leaves us with 17 mana to cast our guy. So yes, we can play the Karakas, and if they try to kill our guy, we can just bounce it and just keep rebuying. So they'll need to have multiple removal spells to kill it, and they also need to kill this Kozilek. Now they might be able to do all of that, which means we're going to have to go and find some Primeval Titans or something. We can't find the Primeval Titans with the Eye of Ugin, but we're just going to have to look for our deck and see if we can grab some. Alternatively, we can then use our extra turn to assemble the Dark Depths combo and try and force a 2023. Okay, so they're just casting a Solitude. So we're probably losing our Kozilek this turn, I would have to imagine. Yep, that's fine. We get to Emrakul them next turn. So they can get 4 damage in here. Alright, so they have 0 mana available. They've used a Solitude. We know 2 of the cards in their hands. They have 4 cards in their hand. So we will go and find the big one. The biggest creature available. We'll get this Emrakul. So play out this first. We'll get extra turn trigger. And then using this mana we have floating. Sacrifice this land for a Dark Depths. We don't have any colourless creatures now, do we? So we'll sacrifice this Eye of Ugin for a green source. Might as well get the Yavimaya here. Then if we don't need to keep doing this, we can just end the turn and go to our bonus turn. And if they have a removal spell, we bounce our guy and just replay this whole turn. So you have to have double Solitude here. Solitude, sure. This time we make an Emrakul and make a 2020. Okay, so they're scooping it up, sure. Sideboarding. Don't really have a great deal for this. The Force of Vigors are fine. They can hit some equipment. They can hit the Ether Vials. That seems fine. Endurance can tangle quite nicely with some of their things. Second, the Reclamation Sage. I honestly don't know what we need here. I think our deck's just fine as is. I think we just submit and go ahead. Like, we could trim a Bojuka Bog for a Force of Vigor. That's probably fine. I guess we don't really need the Cavern of Souls. We could trim the Cavern as well. I don't want to just cut too many lands from the deck though. I think this is fine. So this opening hand, it's not spectacular, is it? But the Once Upon a Time can do some work here. And we do have these Green Sun Zenith, so I think we will keep. Okay, we don't want to fire the Once Upon a Time off immediately. We want to see what we're drawing. See if it makes any difference. I think now we cast it for free. A forest. I quite like a forest against our opponent with lots of ways of interacting with our mana. That seems good to me. And we'll play out this forest. I wish I had a Dried Arbor in the deck, but we don't, so we have to pass. Opponent plays a Thalia. That slows us down because our Green Suns can't really do anything. There's a Thalia. So if we'd have had a Dried Arbor, we'd be able to play through the Thalia this turn. But we don't have one. A Cloudpost. Well, I came here to make Cloudposts, so let's make a Cloudpost. Next turn we get 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can do a Green Suns for 2, but we don't have any 2s. A Wasteland. So we're going to lose our Cloudpost this turn. And we're also going to get hit for 2 with a Thalia. Sure. The lack of Dried Arbor causing us issues here. Can't really interact with the Stoneforge Mystic either. You can just get the Cauldron and go to the races. And I think we're behind and losing this one. So, what do we play out here? I think we just have to play out the Glimmerpost. And we can't Green Suns because of this. Yeah, I think we might lose this game because we don't have a Dried Arbor in our deck. Yep, so the Cauldron Complete's going to come and bash us up good. We'll go through this turn. We've got nothing. Don't have the most amount of turns to get things going here. To Glimmerpost. Then we're going to Green Suns for 1. Going against ourselves and Elvish Reclaimer. I think we are just going to lose this one. Wasteland, Thalia, and not having a Dried Arbor in our deck. That combination of things has really set us back. So we can play Ramunap Excavator and play our Cloudpost next turn, which is okay. But our opponent does have a Rishdam Port now. So we might not even be able to do that if they're just holding up the port. It might just be Dunzos here. So I assume they're porting down our forest here. Porting down our Glimmerpost, okay. So we're forced to play the Ramunap Excavator this turn so that we can block. Pretty sure we're dead though. So this can block the Thalia and we take 6, which puts us to 1. Not a great place to be. Tapping the Rishdam Port. It's got to be okay for us, maybe. Council's Judgment. So we lose this and then we die. Concede the game. Okay. Like there's an option for bringing in these endurances just because they're like a mid-gamey thing that we can do that kind of keeps us in the game a little bit. I think maybe I do want an endurance here. But maybe we just want another one there. We just want to draw the game out really. Because we have pretty much the best inevitability engine you can have, which is casting Emrakul every single turn or every other turn when your opponent not getting a turn in the game and getting annihilated up. It's pretty hard to beat that as an inevitability engine. This only has 1 land. We can't keep this. If they have a Wasteland they're opening, this is pretty bad for us. But otherwise, I think it's okay. So we can keep this. And we're probably putting back Primeval Titan here. Our opponent's on 5 cards over there. So we play this out, and then we hope that our opponent doesn't have a Wasteland, then we can play Expedition Map and Pithing Needle next turn. Yes, okay. This is what we wanted to see. So play this. Copying this. Tap this for 2. Play Pithing Needle on Wasteland. Play out Expedition Map. Okay, so we do need a little bit more land to really start things going. But we're doing alright. If we can get a green source, I think that's probably what we have to get off the Expedition Map is just a basic forest. We can get Yavimaya actually, because the Wasteland is shut off. So that's probably fine. Let's see what we draw there. We drew a basic forest. Okay. Our opponent mulligan, so I'm going to just go and cast this Green Sun Zenith right now, I think, for the Elvish Reclaimer. Sorry, not Elvish Reclaimer, Reclamation Sage. Wrong Reclaimer. Okay, so our opponent's conceding that because they mulligan to 5. We've taken out their main way of getting into the game there. And we're quite far ahead here. And it's not going to take much for us to be able to expedition. Okay, so next turn we can Thespian stage them like the turn after that. So, yeah, okay, cool, excellent. Round 1 in the books. Let's go to round 2. We're on the play for round 2, and our opening hand is not keepable, mulligan. This hand, on the other hand, is very good. We'll keep this and chuck this guy back. So done. We get to Elvish Reclaimer. Off of a forest, big fan of that. And then we can build up to Primeval Titan. And if we cast a Primeval Titan and it resolves, chances are we win that game unless our opponent's playing a combo deck. Let's see. Chalice of the Void for 1. Okay, we've already got our Reclaimer down, so I don't care too much about that. I don't know what sort of Chalice deck our opponent is, but always excited to find out, I guess. Let's play this out. Kind of in an awkward spot because we need to get Cloudpost to sort of go up our mana curve here. But that does cost us our forest. Cavern of Souls. Okay, so this looks like White Stompy. Cleric. Sure, so we're going to cast the Orc Cleric. White Boom Adventure. Sure. So we have a choice here. A lot of the green spells we want to cast in our deck outside of Green Sun Zenith have already gone. We can always fetch a Yavimaya if we need to. I kind of wish I played the Thespian stage instead of this Glimmerpost, to be honest. But here we are. Let's go and get ourselves a Cloudpost. Right, so let's see what we draw. A Pithing Needle that we can't cast. Not the most exciting. So we play out this Thespian stage. This can copy a Cloudpost on its own, which means we don't need to use our Reclaimer. We do need green mana to cast our Primeval Titan coming up soon. We can always get a defensive land, like a Tabernacle or something, but I don't really want to get that. Alternatively, we can get the Marit Lage token. 1, 2, it goes and get it. Yeah, so we can't actually make a 2020 this turn. So this is going to hit us for 5. A blue land, interesting. Let's see, I haven't seen an island version of this deck yet. I think the shell is just very good, so you can kind of do what you want with it, I suppose. If we naturally draw a Yavimaya, that's very good. I'm just trying to work out if there's a way that we can... If we turn this into a Yavimaya, then we have 2, 3, 4. We still need a lot more mana for that. If we copy... No, the Cavern of Souls we don't get to name, do we? Okay, so we just copy this. This gives us... On the Cloudpost, we've got quite a lot of mana to work with on our turn. This is going to untap so we can't attack back, which is a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. A Vesuva. Okay. So if we get this Vesuva out, that gives us Primeval Titan next turn, so we can chub block with the Elvish Reclaimer after this. That's right. Does that work? So if this comes in as a Glimmerpost, and we turn it into a Yavimaya, then we still have 3, 6, 7. Yeah, okay. So this comes in as a Glimmerpost. So it's going to help our life turn out a bit. And then we can play our Elvish, then we can block with Elvish Reclaimer if we want to save some damage and activate it to send this Glimmerpost into a Yavimaya. And then we can use our Yavimaya to use these two and this to get Primeval Titan online. And I think once we have Primeval Titan online, it should be okay to win the game from there. Now, our opponent can do some pretty broken things with their deck, and they do have blue mana, which I'm not 100% happy about. A Tundra. I think we can just take 5 this turn. I have to imagine there's counter spells on their deck. And that's what the blue mana's for. Let's sacrifice this. So we can always get the Cavern of Souls here and hope that we draw into a green source to play around their removal. I think we just get the Yavimaya. Not their removal, their counter magic. Okay, let's see how we run here. Ulamog, that's pretty good, right? So this is 3, 6, 7, 8. So we're a little bit shy of this. If we play this out, pay 2 to make it into a Cloudpost. Each of these are tapped for 4. So we're still not there. So this turn, I think we are just casting our Primeval Titan here. Do they have counter magic in their deck? Force of Will. They do have counter spells in their deck. Right, good to know. So now we have this mana up. So what we can do with this is we can activate this and get rid of the stage in favour of the Eye of Ugin, so we can cast Ulamog next turn. And then we get to kill the White Plume Adventurer and maybe take the initiative back with the Elvish Reclaimer. Alright. So our opponent gets the Throne of the Dead 3 next turn, It might just hold up a counter spell here. So it's going to put us to 5, which is quite a precariously low life total. But the main ways of dealing with Ulamog are going to be counter spells or Source of Plowshare, it. So, okay, so I have 2 lotus petals. What's the plan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they can cast the thing that makes the angels, the land. Something to watch out for here. Each opponent can't cast non-creature spells. Okay, that's fine by me. I'm going to be casting a creature spell this turn. What's this one going to name? Each opponent. Whenever opponent casts a spell, have no mana spent to cast a counter spell. So they can't cast Force of Will with this. Oh no, it's each opponent, right? Yeah, it's one-sided. Okay. That makes sense. Petty Theft. That's a little bit annoying. Opponent has 1 card in hand. So we'll get to Throne of the Dead 3. Because they took our attacker away. But, so this taps for 3, 6, 7, and this can tap for 1 as well. 8. We can cast this guy. We will just remove their 2 creatures from play. So they might have a Solitude, but obviously they can't cast it right now, but they can untap and maybe cast it. Have to imagine this is going to be good. Oh, it's Ulamog. Of course it's going to be good, right? The Lavinia will impact our Green Sun Zeniths going forward in future games, but it won't impact our big payoffs like this. Okay, so they're going to put the Brazen Borrower into play now. Put a creature card from them on the battlefield. Okay, so the thing that comes into play has to be the thing that gets the counters. That's good for us. We can't just put the counters on this and bash us for lethal. So how many... This only exiles their library. It doesn't annihilate. So we're going to need to find something else here. Maybe we're supposed to hit the protection from me. That's not very nice, is it? Our opponent's deck is what I would describe as incredibly greedy. Trying to cast all these blue spells in your white adventurer deck feels very greedy. I think they're going to get us this time, but that does feel greedy to me. Once Upon a Time is probably a thing we have to cast here. The question is, what mana do we use to cast it with? These are never going to tap for more than green, so I think this is the mana we use. Though we're kind of looking for a creature, aren't we? So maybe we do this. Primeval Titan is good here. And there's a Primeval Titan. So, wait, is Primeval Titan actually good here? So we have 2 floating, 3, 4, and then the 2 green. Yeah, we can get the Primeval Titan here. So this taps for green, this taps for green, this taps for some. I'm playing around days. Alright, so now we get to go and get some lands. Yes. I would very much like to get 2... We get Glimmerpost and a Vesuva. And the Vesuva will be a Glimmerpost. And we'll gain a bunch of land, a bunch of life. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. That's not lethal. So what this will do is this will exile 20 cards of their library. They will block though, but that's fine. This can't block their creature anyway. Sure. We also get to see their library and get a little bit more of a feel of what their deck's trying to do. Seagate Restoration. Okay. So they're just playing the 2 white adventurer dudes and then blue spells by the looks of it. Interesting. And Lavinia. I don't think the correct shell for... the perfect deck list for White Stompy hasn't been made yet, I don't think. So people are going to keep experimenting with it. And the core shell of just those 2 adventurer guys and ramping them out quickly is so strong. I can't really afford to attack with the true name necessarily, because if I get to attack my Primeval Titan, bad things are going to happen for our opponent. Have to do a little bit of maths, but I think we can Emrakul next turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that'll be 7, 14, 15. No, so 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they can hit us for 10 this turn, because the creature will explore. And this will get them a... Oh wait, this puts 2 counters on. So this is 3, 4, 5. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, wait, are we dead here? I think we're dead here, right? Because when they venture into the dungeon, when they attack, they explore. And they can get a counter. Oh, it depends though. Depends what top card of their library is. Depends on if we win this game or not, I think. Cavern of Souls. Okay. So they put us to 1. Now we have to do the math to see if we can cast Emrakul. I think we can. We have to do the maths first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can have 7 Cloudpost in place. This is 7, and we need 15 minus 2, which is 13, plus 7, which is 20. So we need 20 mana. So this is 7, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's 1 mana shy. Is that right? Is that 1 mana shy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, this is 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, so 1 mana shy. That means I think we have to cast a Once Upon a Time here. I guess the Yavimaya not doing anything else, is it? Alright, what have you got for us? Kozilek, Butcher of Truth. That draws us more cards. Does it gain us more life, though? Oh my god, I've just realised if we attack, the trample for this goes over and we get enough. Oh, shit. We would have had enough there. So, are any of our lands in play actually Thespian Stage? That one is Thespian Stage. Okay, so we can make a 20/20 to block the Brazen Borrower. So we play this one out. We attack with just the Primeval Titan, I think. So we go and get some more Glimmerposts. Can always get a Glacial Chasm, actually, couldn't we? But they've got Trap about to come in and get us, haven't they? So we need to get 2 Glimmerposts here. That's going to gain us 14. That should be okay, I think. 2, 13. So we can go and get Glimmerpost. Glacial Chasm, actually, is probably what we want here. We've stacked these the wrong way round, I think, here. We need to stack them the other way round to gain more life. So we need to sack a land here, which means we're probably sacrificing... Do we need the green mana from Yavimaya more than we need the life here? I think we do need green mana here. Maybe we just have to sacrifice the Glimmer Void, which is awkward. That is a little bit awkward. Sacrifice the Yavimaya. Yeah, our opponent's not going to have wastelands. Let's just go all in on gaining the maximum life here. And this guy's still attacking. So we also get to steal the initiative, so they can't trap us unless they play a guy. And we also get the green source off of this as well, don't we? So that's all coming up Millhouse right now. Alright. It's a difficult game, this one. We've already played land for the turn. So we can make a 20/20. We don't have to do that now. I think we just say go. So our opponent can't attack. We can still lose life, so we can lose 5 to the trap. But we can't be attacked unless they can get rid of our Glacial Chasm. Explore here. I can't attack, but their creatures can attack. They just can't deal damage to me while the Glacial Chasm's in play. So we don't have any creatures that can block this. Paying costs. So they can play a thing to deal us 5 here, which means we have to just let the Glacial Chasm die, which we were going to do anyway. A White Plume Adventurer, sure. This hits us for 5, puts us to 2. God, this game's been intense. So end of turn, we fetch an Emrakul and make a 20/20. I think we win from that point. So, do we even need to make the 20/20 here? No, I think we just do this, activate this, go and get Emrakul. We untap. We will not pay. Okay, so this taps for 6, 12, 13. We'll cast an Emrakul. Extra turn's got to be good. Play out this. And, so you can attack with... This guy's indestructible, isn't he? So you can attack all he likes. I don't think we actually have to attack the Primeval Titan there. Sure, so this just exiles their library. And then next turn we can do the same again, as well as attacking with our Emrakul. I think they're just burning down our clock at this point. In combat. Attack with all creatures. Yeah, that seems fine to me. Just place these on the stack, however. So, lose a load of permanents, please. Okay, so we get a Glimmerpost, and we get a Tabernacle. Gain some life. Probably lose the Primeval Titan here, but this has flying, so the Brazen Borrower has to block this, and then they have to block here as well. Our opponent is dead. They're just trying to make us play through the clock, which is a little bit annoying, but fair enough, I suppose. Let's cast this. Doesn't really matter, does it? We cast this off of Cloudpost. We don't need to do anything. We just let our opponent die on their draw step. I'm just worried they have something, but I think it's just worth... Okay, so they're going to die to their own initiative here because they're going to go into the archive and draw a card. Sure. Okay, that took ages. Okay, so our opponent's got some things that we wouldn't mind Force of Vigoring in their deck. I think the big top end is pretty good. They didn't have Wastelands in their deck, so I think we can just board out these Pithing Needles. Just straight swap 4 for 4. Submit. We got to play quick because we don't have the most amount of time on our clock. We need to wrap this one up. At least if they beat us, it'll be a quick game, I suppose. We probably can win in like 7-ish minutes, 6-7 minutes. Because my opponent had a lot of stuff I didn't really know what was going on in their deck, I definitely played slower because I was thinking about things. But now I've seen their whole deck, thanks to Ulamog. I know what to expect. Green Sun Zenith, bad versus Lavinia, but good everything else. This opening hand desperately needs a green source. But if it draws a green source, it's pretty good. Now, is that good enough to keep is the question. Yes, we're going to keep this. I don't think I should necessarily be keeping this, but... Okay, our opponent didn't play anything on turn 1. That's good for us. Oh my god, he's so good at this game. Can you believe how good I am at this game? Alright, we do have a fair amount of green sources in our deck. He says trying to justify his loose keep. So we can play Glimmerpost next turn, then the turn after we can play a Green Sun Zenith. Or we can still play Once Upon a Time this turn because it's free. I think we play it free now, just in case we hit one of the things we want. I think we just take the land here, to be honest. And we'll play out Glimmerpost. No, we should have played out the... Yeah, we definitely should have played out the forest and then played out one of our 1-drops there. Ancient Tomb. Seasoned Dungeoneer. Sure. Yeah, so we could have had an Elvish Reclaimer in play right now. I'm playing a bit rushed because of my clock and making mistakes. So, this turn, what do we Green Sun Zenith for? Have we Green Sun Zenith for anything here? Nothing that actually I'm that excited to Green Sun Zenith for. I think we're actually slightly better off just playing this, giving ourselves a Glimmerpost, a Cloudpost here, because then we'll have 3/6. We'll have enough mana to Green Sun Zenith for a Primeval Titan next turn, which sounds good to me. If that doesn't work, we can maybe crop rotation for something useful in the following turn. Alright, so we're going to take a chunk this turn. This adventure deck with counterspells feels a bit mean, to be honest. Alright, so what are they revealing here? City of Traitors, okay, that's fine. Don't mind our opponent just drawing lots of land at this point. This is another Dungeoneer. Dragon Lord Ujitai. What does this do? Common damage, look at top 3. Okay, it does some stuff. We'll worry about it later. Yes, of course I want to use his mana in my pool to cast it. So Force of Will is going to be bad for us here. Green, so this is 3, 6. If this doesn't work, next turn we can crop rotation and cast a Primeval Titan through a Cavern, but we have to resolve our crop rotation. So a bit of a mixed bag, that one. Sure, Force of Will. So I'm going to put us to 2 on their next turn, right? Which is not a lot of life total to work with. So I can gain 8 life off of my... If I play the Primeval Titan play, I can gain 8 life next turn, which probably won't be enough to stop us. So we're going to have to do like a Desperation Glacial Chasm next turn, which isn't really where we want to be. We're on 1, so we can't take any more damage. I think we've probably lost this game. But I'm seeing something cool from the other side of the board, though. We've got a 3rd game to go to, I think. I think that was just our first game that took forever. Cavern of Souls, sure. If we draw a Glacial Chasm, that would be good for us. Or if we draw a green source, or a Cavern of Souls. Cavern of Souls would be a good draw. I don't know we beat a counterspell this turn. Cavern of Souls, Cloudpost. So I think we play the Cloudpost here. And we tap this for mana, tap this for mana, tap this for mana. We cast Crop Rotation and we sacrifice Wait, no, this doesn't work. We need 2 green mana, don't we? So we need to go and get Yavimaya here, right? So like, we're all on this play anyway, so let's just see if it works. Like, we can't beat a counterspell this turn. So we can go green, green. Cast this. Do you have another Force of Will? They do not. Okay, so we're not out of this game yet. So what do we need? We need a Glacial Chasm and a Glimmerpost, just to shore up our life total, I think. We have to sacrifice a land here, don't we? Oh, I stacked my triggers the wrong way around again. It's a pain. Okay, so we're gaining some life, and we're passing the turn. We can let the Glacial Chasm die if we get a... We can just yield for our opponent's turn, can't we? Yeah, so if we get the... So we got 3... No, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15. So if we draw the Emrakul, we can cast it. But I think we have to pay Glacial Chasm this turn. Chance of the Void. Okay, so our hand's just now blank, apart from this Once Upon a Time. So they can attack, but they can't deal damage to us. So they might want to do lots of exploring, which I think would be a good play. Sure. You explore away. So a Green Sun Zenith for Ramunap Excavator would win us this game, because we can just assemble the Glacial Chasm lock, as long as our opponent doesn't remove our things. So I think we are incentivized to cast an upkeep Once Upon a Time, just in case we hit the Ramunap Excavator here. Where's this tiny little thing here? Kozilek. So 4, 8. Okay, we'll put the Kozilek in our hand. And so our opponent can go into the Forge next turn. So we have to say... So Forge is target player loses 5 life. So I would be relying on Kozilek to hit us something. The Primeval Titan can gain us some life, but then Kozilek... Yikes. This is a bit of an issue for us. Let's see what we draw. A Force of Vigor. That's very awkward, actually. Maybe not the most awkward, though. So if we cast Kozilek first, then we can Force of Vigor and Crop Rotation into something. Oh, this is hard. I haven't got a lot of time, so I'm probably going to make a misplay here. 8. Okay, so let's cast this Kozilek. Yes, I want to use this mana in my pool to cast it. Okay, so we're going to draw some cards here. We've still got a land drop this turn. These are not the land drops we... This was none of the land drops we wanted. Okay, that's a problem for us. Yikes. No, we're still fine, right? We have a lot of crop rotations. We only have 1 green source, though. What can we Green Sun Zenith for? We can't Green Sun Zenith for anything good here. Shit. Okay, we need to do a lot of stuff in our opponent's upkeep. Sure, you can bounce our Kozilek. We will discard one of our cards. Discard this Elvish Reclaimer. Discard both Elvish Reclaimers. Okay, so now we need to Force of Vigor, exiling this. Is there any target? And I think we get rid of the Green Suns here. Oh, that was a mistake, actually. No, we get the Green Suns to the Ramunap, don't we? Okay, so then we cast this. We need to sacrifice a land. We can't sacrifice this. We need our green mana, so we have to sacrifice the Glimmerpost. So we go and get ourselves a Glimmerpost. That gains us some life. And in our opponent's turn, we can Glimmerpost for Emrakul, right? We have enough for that. So if this becomes, I think we have 3, 6, 9. No. So 5, 10, 15 mana. 15, 16 mana. Oh, jeez. So these... Oh. Okay, so let's just let our opponent do their thing. We're not blocking. Cavern of Souls, sure. So we can crop rotation for another Glimmerpost. Give us some more life here. And we can cast our Primeval Titan. We're going to go and get Cavern of Souls, I think. just to make sure. Giant. So this is going to hit us for 4 this turn. Okay, so then we tap this for green, tap this for green, tap this for 3, tap this one, cast this guy. Yes, I'd like to use the ability. So we'll get us a Glimmerpost, and we'll get us a where is it? Eye of Ugin. Play this out. How much just tap for? 7. And then we can tap this one, cast this guy, and cast this off of this, and we go through the turn. Sure. Oh, we have this game sewn up, but we just don't have the time to finish it off, which is really frustrating. Sure, so we hit with a trap. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. So next time we can shoot it for Emrakul, cast Emrakul. I said I want to yield through the turn. Let me yield. So we're going to let this Glacial Chasm die this turn. What are they casting? A rogue creature spell. Trinity Nemesis, sure, I don't care. Chatter of the Void. That doesn't impact what we're doing. Just ignore it. We don't have time to deal with that. So all creatures. Yes, I want to use the ability. Get a Cloudpost. Get a Vesuva. Vesuva copies Glimmerpost. Yes, use the ability. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Get Karakas. Get Forest, it doesn't matter. Play this. Oh my god, yes, I want to use my mana. Let me play this. Oh my god, let me use my mana. That game is won, we just ran out of time. So annoying. Took too long on my opponent's deck, but in terms of what we're doing content-wise, that is a relatively rudimentary victory. But unfortunately we lose it due to stupid timing out. Alright, we're on the draw, though we can't keep this hand, mulligan. This is fine for what we want to do. We can keep this. And then we get rid of the crop rotation. Oh, that last round. Alright, and there's a Saga, sure. A Mox Opal. Okay, so our opponent's probably playing 8 cast. They're playing Hammer Time. Paradise Mantle, sure. Esper Sentinel. Loads of stuff our opponent has played there. Paradise Mantle, equip. Opponent has 2 cards left in hand. I think we're supposed to play out the Pithing Needle this turn, just to stop the Urza's Saga. Yes, you can have a card. So this stops the only good card they've played so far, pretty much. It slows us down slightly though, but needs must. We're going to have a lot of colourless mana in the near future. Esper Sentinel, that's fine. Cranial Plating. Okay, that's a good card. I can equip it now. Okay, that's a pretty sizable clock they've assembled there. Sure. Bash us up. Be my guest. Alright, so they hit us for 7 next turn. And then the turn after, we're dead. So we really need to find something on this next draw step. Like, a green source is enough. It just buys us a turn here. Sword of Fire and Ice. Yep. So this is getting equipped this turn as well. So this is 11, 12, 13, we're dead. Sure. That's probably the best I've seen Hammer Time really run. Alright, sideboard in. We have these 4 Force of Vigors that are going to be pretty great. This Endurance isn't going to do anything. The Ramunap Excavator, probably not going to do anything. I doubt they're playing Wastelands. They could be, but I don't think they are. Pithing Needles are okay, but not spectacular. Something like this. We could Mindbreak Trap, but I don't think that's worth it. I think this setup is pretty fine. Do I want a Ramunap Excavator in place of one of Eldrazi? I don't think so. Yeah, I think this is fine. That was a very good draw from our opponent there, I would say. What does this hand do? Turn 1, Reclaimer, and then we do some cool stuff. We'll keep this. We have the ability to go and get the emergency Glacial Chasm if things go badly for us. So we'll play Elvish Reclaimer on 1, and we'll pass the turn. We can play Cloudpost plus Elvish Reclaimer this turn. Esper Sentinel, sure. Ornithopter, sure. Mox Opal, sure. Mindbreak Trap would be live. Sigarda's Aid, sure. So we'll play this one out. And if they have a hammer, we're in a bit of trouble here. But we can Glimmerpost our way through this game, I think. So this lets them play them with flash. So I'm not going to block here. A Colossus Hammer. Sure. This is going to bash us up for a decent amount. We can get Glacial Chasm now, but I think that's way too early to be doing that. So this turn we make the Glimmerpost. And how are we navigating the rest of this game? Attacks for 2, which activates this. Which gets Dark Depths, gets Thespian Stage. That doesn't do enough. Tricky. Don't think we want anything like a Tabernacle or anything here either. I think we can block this turn to save ourselves some damage. And then we can turn our forest into a Yavimaya. So this won't be lethal damage. Now if they have another one, it will be. Tap this and float green. And sacrifice this. It sells a Yavimaya. So this doesn't have trample. This is in us for 10. So this is going to put us to 1. I think that's okay. Weirdly. Cigar is 8. Okay, that doesn't do anything. So our play here is interesting. Give it life. That's why I did this play. Cool. 4, 5, 6. We cast this. This can go and get us things that stop these from killing us. So we say yes to this. We have to go and get ourselves probably Glacial Chasm and Glimmerpost, I think. Oh, I stacked them the wrong way around again. I keep doing that. So we have to sacrifice a land here. Sacrifice one of these Glimmerposts. Stack my abilities wrong. It's going to cost us 1 life. Sure. If they do play Wastelands, then we just die. But deck is pretty low to the ground, so we'll not have the room to play that. So this can go and get all sorts of weird and wonderful things. Are you really going to attack with both your creatures? No, I didn't think so. So I'll give my Primeval Titan a free attack. Okay, so pay 2 for this. And we draw for turn. A Once Upon a Time. Yep, I'm certainly interested in casting that. We're not paying because we don't have 11 spare mana. At some point in this game we might do. What have you got for us? Another Cloudpost. A Primeval Titan. Can we cast the Primeval Titan this turn? 3, 4, 5, 6. We can. So we'll get the Primeval Titan. And we will tap this Eye of Ugin. We'll tap this for 3. And then green, green, green. Cast this. Go and get some more lands. So we probably just want 2 Cloudposts here just for maximum mana. Are we losing? I'm just working out if we're losing the Cloudpost next turn. So how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll have 15 mana here. So that's not quite enough yet. So we can't afford to lose the Thespian, the Glacial Chasm this turn. So we get a Cloudpost and a Thespian Stage this turn. And then the Thespian Stage can copy the Eye of Ugin. I guess we can attack with the Primeval Titan and get our kicks that way. But yeah, so we're going to untap. We're going to Eye of Ugin, copy the Glacial Chasm, let the Glacial Chasm die, save ourselves some damage. So we're going to lock our opponent out pretty soon. Quite a lot of operations in this deck, actually. Do we have to do the Thespian Stage this turn? This is 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, I think we just pay again. That seems fine to me. Oh, wowzers. That's a lot of stuff, isn't it? So we play out the Tabernacle. That's going to be very annoying for our opponent. This will make us green. This will make us green. This will make us 4. We cast this. So we have won this game now. Okay, so I would like to get Cloudpost and Cloudpost. And we activate this now, might as well. So this taps 4, 6, 7. We'll go and get ourselves an Emrakul, the Aeons Torn. And that should do. Okay, we've burned quite a lot of our clock. I'm not very quick with my operations on this. Okay, so they've scooped rather than let's play it out. That's kind of them. I think we just resubmit the same again. Although I think I would like the Ramunap Excavator back purely for those things where we can just chain through everything. Which means we're probably cutting a Pithing Needle here. Well, a Pithing Needle on Colossus Hammer isn't the worst. Maybe on the play we're cutting expedition maps for these needles. maybe that's fine. How do I feel about crop rotation? It is instant speed. Is it better than expedition map? Let's split the difference, right? This is fine. Well, it's going to be fine, because that's what we submit. So we have a Force of Vigor. That's very nice. But it will cost us our Once Upon a Time. Our rest of our hand doesn't really do anything. I think we should mulligan. This hand is a little slow. I think we can keep it and hide behind a... what do you call it? A Glacial Chasm for a while if we need to. Ancient Dent, sure. Mox Opal, sure. Because we're probably going to sacrifice whatever land we play first, I'm just going to play the forest out because we don't really want to sacrifice the Yavimaya. Okay, our opponent can attack us for 11 this turn. Urza Saga. Probably not going to attack us this turn. I wonder if this is supposed to be a Thespian stage game. Maybe it is. Play this out. And we're better off getting... If we'd have played the Yavimaya first, we could Thespian stage here. Do we want to stop their Urza Saga from doing things? I think we probably do. I have to imagine if they had the Sigarda Zay, they would have cast it that turn. Wasteland. They do have Wastelands in their deck. Alright. Good to know. Probably didn't see any in the other games, but I guess... I don't know, they saw a decent chunk of the game in game... chunk of their deck in game 2. A Green Sun Zenith. Doesn't really do anything yet, does it? We play this Yavimaya and say go. And then we can turn this into Thespian stage, untap, make a 20/20 on the next turn. And 20/20s seem like a good place to be. They can always fetch an Ornithopter to block, but they won't know about 20/20 the turn they're fetching, which is now. They can get a Pithing Needle here. This is definitely irritating. I don't think it's worth fetching a response. Like if they're getting a Pithing Needle, I'm more worried about them killing us. We have the inevitability. What we're doing is intrinsically more powerful. An Ornithopter. Okay, so they've gone for a way of blocking through our Steel Shaper's Gift. Sure. So they can block a Dark Depths for a turn. We can also Ramunap Excavator later. Sword of Fire and Ice. That's a very slow way of trying to win the game. They can't attack into our 1/2. Powerful 1/2s. So now we will sacrifice this land. Go and get Thespian stage. And we're all ready for Depthcember. Let's put out Thespian stage. Can you beat a 20/20? Probably. There's probably some amount of Swords of Plowshares in your deck. You do only have 3 cards to work with though. And you can't really attack without me being able to make a 20/20. Sure. A Colossus Hammer. Sure, that's fine. No cards in hand. My opponent's going to have a tough time here. They can't attack with the Ornithopter. Why are they attacking with the Ornithopter? They have 1 card in hand. Did they find the Swords of Plowshares? Sucks if they did. They did not. Okay, cool. So we got the win there. Nice. So we should be 3-0, but we timed out in game 2. So let's go on to the 4th round. We're on the play for round 4. Again, this is one of those hands where if we had our Dryad Arbor in the deck, it looked pretty good. Now, most of, like half our deck is lands. We're odds on for drawing lands. Does that mean this is a keep? I think that'd be very sketchy on the play. I'm going to believe in the heart of the cards. So we can lead out with Cloudpost and then make a Green Sun Zenith for Elvish Reclaimer on turn 2. Now our opponent might just be like a combo deck and ruin us anyway. Alright, we're off. Cloudpost tapped. Pass the turn. Don't wasteland me, bro. I don't know how long they're thinking about on their turn here. Chromox. Okay. Is this going to be Stompy again? Try and play quicker if it is. Yeah, okay, this looks like Stompy. Elite Spellbinder. Another Chromox. This could be turn 1 White Plume Adventurer. Thalia under the Chromox. Cavern of Souls. Naming Orc. Or Cleric. Cleric, there you go. So this is White Plume Adventurer, which gets them a land out of the deck. We're down to 2 cards. I do need to hit more mana sources for our game to do anything. Boseiju. Is that an exciting one? No. X is 1. Going to get ourselves an Elvish Reclaimer. Pass the turn. So we're a couple of turns off of Primeval Titan here. But with some good draws, we can get right back at it. Yep, make your big guy. We're going to be yielding through this turn. No, that's our turn. Our opponent didn't have a follow-up threat by the looks of it. Primeval Titan. Okay, we get it. There's Primeval Titans in my deck. Play out Boseiju. We use our Elvish Reclaimer to turn this into a... wait, if we turn it into a Cloudpost now, it doesn't achieve anything, does it? So we're going to turn this into a Cloudpost in their turn. And then that'll give us 5 mana. And if we can draw a second green source, we can Primeval Titan. And then we can win the game. I feel like winning the game with a Primeval Titan play is not that difficult. This deck certainly puts on the race, though. Can we beat turn 1 White Plume with no removal in our deck? That's not true. We do have Annihilator and Ulamog. But those are quite expensive removal spells. But you just cast Primeval Titan 3 turns in a row, we will win this game. Just some high-level commentary for you right there. Sure, we take 5. We can't afford to let our Elvish Reclaimer hit the bin this turn, because if something goes wrong, we might need to get a Glacial Chasm. Our opponent doesn't have direct damage outside of the trap, and they've already gone past that. But they can speed through it again relatively quickly if they've got more adventure guys. Sacrifice this. I would like a Cloudpost, please. Sure, you're going to take your guy. Can I draw a green source? Please let me draw a green source. It's not a green source, is it? So now what are we doing? I think we tap this for 2, this for 1. Play Ramunap Excavator. Then we can play out our Boseiju. And then we can probably play out a Reclamation Sage here, which gets under the bus. Because we have the 6 mana here, I don't think we need to do anything else. We just want to make sure we don't die, so getting bodies to put in front of our opponent's things is a good place to be. Let's hit one of our Chrome Moxes. And pass a 10. So next time we cast Primeval Titan, we can go and get whatever we require. And if our Ramunap Excavator lives, we might be able to just get them with the old lock that we assembled before, with like the Glimmerposts and Glacial Chasm, that's what it's called. I'm trying to think. So the Reclamation Sage is going very much under the bus this turn. Sorry, Reclamation Sage. You're no good. You've done your work. This is Solitude. Sure, what are you going to target? This will be interesting. Elvish Reclaimer. Sure. I'll take that. You're going to have a bad time, opponent. You didn't have a Seasoned Dungeoneer, so... 2, 4, 5, 6. Give me the big boy. So... we don't really have to keep getting more mana here. Or is there a way we can get... I don't think there's a way we can get enough mana to do Primeval Titan, 2 Primeval Titans next turn, is there? I think we should just play it safe and just go and get ourselves 2 Glimmerposts. Sort of buffer our life total a bit, and we can put one of our guys under the bus if necessary. So they're going to get to Throne of the Dead 3, so that could find a Solitude, which could kill our Primeval Titan. However, we have more Primeval Titans. We are mono Primeval Titan today. What a card. What a lovely guy. Seasoned Dungeoneer. Now this is a problem because we can't block this because it has protection from creatures. If we had a Maze of Ith in our deck, or at least in our sideboard, that'd probably be quite good. Because Seasoned Dungeoneer is like the only real problem creature, I think, for the deck we're playing. Just can't attack this turn, no. Just something. Curious to see if they attack here or not. They are attacking with the 5/5. If they explore onto it and it becomes a 6/6, do we block? I don't think we do. Reveal spell mana. Sure. I think we just take it this turn. We get to put 4 lands into play this turn, so that seems like a good place to be. Thalia. Time for Thalia is long since passed. Sure, untap your 6/6. Okay, so there is no way that we can... well, that's not true. So this taps for 4. Yeah, so we can cast both of these Primeval Titans this turn if we attack with this one. So let's do that. Okay, so we get a Yavimaya, and I guess it doesn't really matter what it is as long as it's a post. I guess we want to get the Cloudpost first because we're going to be getting more Glimmerpost in a second. So this is just going to get eaten by the Seasoned Dungeoneer, I suspect. But that's fine because we're going to cast some Primeval Titans. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these tap for 10, these 2, and then we have these 4 green sources. So 10, so we go green, green. Yes, I like to use the ability. suppose you get a Cloudpost and Glimmerpost. Let me cast this guy. Yes, we'll use his ability. This will get us a Glacial Chasm and an Eye of Ugin. And we will sacrifice our... We can sacrifice a Glimmer Void here and get it back next turn. That seems fine. We can get back this turn, actually, can't we? Okay, let's skip in because we have assembled the thing and they don't want to burn our clock out like the previous player did. Alright, so we decided that Force of Vigors are good here. Pithing Needles aren't because they're not a Wasteland deck. That was what we did before. Do we want Endurances to sort of shore up the mid-game at all? I don't think we do. I think our game plan is just good enough. So we'll submit. Like, against a deck that doesn't actually interfere with your lands, Cloudpost is pretty scary. So I'm glad I'm playing the Cloudpost today. Wish I'd have played faster in one of the rounds, but there we go. This is a good hand. We have a 1-drop. We can crop rotate, use our Reclaimer and our Expedition map. So we've got a lot of options here, so we'll keep this. We have the Eye of Ugin for when the time comes. Also, we can just shuffle this away at some point if we need to with a crop rotation. And pass our opponent's turn. I don't think this matchup is as good as the lands matchup versus the mono white Stompy. I think it's fine. On the play, they can certainly be scary though, as we're about to see. Alright. 1x Elvish Reclaimer. Our Karakas can be useful if they have a Thalia, but it won't be useful. Oh, we should have brought out the Bojuka Bog for Endurance actually, shouldn't we? We don't have any plays this turn, so we'll shield for our opponent's turn. Elite Spellbinder. So this is probably going to remove the Green Sun Zenith. It could be the crop rotation. I suspect the Expedition maps are A-OK here. Yep, so there's the Green Sun Zenith. So we'll put that down here because that's in our hand. And we will not be blocking. Another Elvish Reclaimer. So we can crop rotate for... So how many turns? It's 2, 6, 12, and dead. So you don't actually get that many turns off of the Glacial Chasm. So I think we just have to pass here. And then we're going to be using our Elvish Reclaimer to get rid of our Karakas and turn it into a Cloudpost. And then we can play Eye of Ugin and turn it into a Cloudpost. And then we're going to need to find some sort of action pretty sharpish. So we're going to have to have 9 mana to make our Green Sun Zenith do the thing we want. This makes it 2 more expensive, right? Yeah. So we're going to need 9 mana. So that's a lot. And it's also a kind of an awkward number in terms of how Cloudpost scale. Yep. Coming in. Interesting they went down the Scry route. So we will sacrifice this. We get ourselves a Cloudpost. And begin. So this is goaded this turn. Okay, so there's Swords of Plowshare. Sure, that's fine. Not getting the extra counters on that has really reduced the speed of their clock, which is good for us. So we can play this out. And we can either play out an Elvish Reclaimer, or we can Expedition map and crack it this turn. Or we can play out Elvish Reclaimer, and then play out 2 Expedition maps. I like that. Okay, so we've got 5 mana, and we have this Eye of Ugin that we can turn into something else next turn if needs be. So we're going to be in fetching Glimmerpost territory quite soon. We may be Ramunap Excavator for... So, okay. We might have to get a Glacial Chasm in the very near future. So maybe we want to try and get this Green Sun Zenith for Ramunap first. And just sit behind it. Okay, so they're going to become the Monarch. That's pretty annoying. But I suspect... I guess there's going to be quite a few turns from hiding behind a Glacial Chasm. So we're taking 9 this turn. So we have to Glacial Chasm up next turn. So this is going to give them enough cards in theory to remove our Ramunap Excavator if that's the thing we do. What would be a good draw here? 2, 3, 2, 4, 5 mana. 2, 4, 5. So we need 6 mana to do the good one this time. So I think we don't want to tap them both. We tap one of them and sacrifice this. And then this goes and gets us a Cloudpost. Is that right? And we play the Cloudpost. And then this goes and gets us. So this is 3, 6, 9, 10. Okay. So this goes and gets us a Glimmerpost, I think. And then 3, 6, 9. Yeah, so that gives us the untapped mana. This didn't need to be a Cloudpost. This could have been a Glimmerpost. I've made a mistake there. So Primeval Titan we've discovered is 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 3, 6, 9 plus this. So no, we don't have enough for that, do we? I made a mistake there. Okay. That was a little bit of a problem. And we have to get around the Forge next turn as well. But that's what the Glimmerpost is supposed to be for. So our opponent attacks with stuff. That's not the worst for us. Anointed Peacekeeper. Okay, so we have to sacrifice one of our lands. I guess it's our green land here. And then we have to sacrifice one of our Cloudposts. So we're in a spot of bother. Glacial Chasm. We have to sacrifice a Cloudpost here. It's annoying, but we can get the Ramunap Excavator next turn. But they might name something annoying with their Peacekeeper. Green Sun Zenith. Okay, yeah. So that makes this a little bit of a problem for us. So they're drawing a lot of cards here. So we'll pay for our Glacial Chasm. We can't pay next turn. Okay, so if we play this out, we have 2, 4, 5 mana. This costs 2 more, so this costs 4 more. So it's 3 plus 4 is 7, so this will cost us 8 mana. So we can't actually do that this turn. Not ideal. We have to play the Glimmerpost out. And next turn we have 3, 6, 7. So this is 2 plus 3. No, 2 plus 2, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 3, 6, 7, 8. So we can go get Ramunap Excavator and then put a Glacial Chasm back into play. Now our opponent's probably going to have some removal, so we might only get to do this trick once, which is not really where I want to be. I'm surprised our opponent isn't just going to the Forge, because if they just speed run through the adventures, they can just keep 5ing us. We just need to yield for this turn, don't we? They don't have a Seasoned Dungeoneer, so they're not going to be attacking anyway. Unless they play one right now. Surprised they didn't name Human with this one, but fixes their mana better. So we can pay here with our 4 life, or we can just let it go. Which I think is what we have to do here. How have I done the maths? Wait, our Ramunap Excavator wasn't exiled, was it? No, that was the other game. And the Ramunap Excavator. So, we go and get Ramunap Excavator. Play this Glacial Chasm out. Wait, no, we've already played a land for 10, haven't we? Oh, I've just messed that up completely. No, we were just dead there. Right, let's go to the last round. The last match of this one. Do you want some endurances? I think we're going to remove a Bojuka Bog for endurance, just as another mid-rangey threat that can block. I think that's fine. And we'll say submit. The Cavern isn't necessary, but it's fine. It lets us play through a Chalice with Elvish Reclaimers. So what does this hand do? Cloudpost into Glimmerpost. It's one of those hands where if I get green mana, it's going to be good, so I'm going to keep this. My opponent doesn't have Wastelands. Any green source, and I think we win this game. We have an Endurance that we can pitch to shuffle their Graveyard, which does literally nothing against our opponent. Step 1, Cloudpost. Step 2, Glimmerpost have 3 mana on turn 2, so we can draw an Expedition map and go and get a green source. Our opponent is not making turn 1 threat, so this is very good for us. We have a green source. It doesn't cast all the things we want here, though, does it? I think we'll name Elf here. So this is just going to fix our mana. And then next turn we can rotate it into a Yavimaya if we need to. Source of Plowshares. Okay, we're not doing that. We need a green source to crop rotate this away. Maybe they're going for the turn 2, 3/3. Yeah, it looks like what's happening there. Oh no, the Anointed Peacekeeper. So this is going to name Crop Rotation, which is going to shut off some of our lines here. I'd be very surprised if it didn't name Crop Rotation. Although we are down a green source, but all of these things are green spells, so it could just be Green Sun Zenith. Crop Rotation, sure. A Cloudpost. We'll play a Cloudpost out. So next turn we'll have access to 7, 8 mana, but we won't really have anything to do with it, which is not ideal. Okay, is this a Seasoned Dungeoneer? Would be my guess. If they're taking this long to play an adventure guy, we're probably okay. Our Lotus Petal. Seasoned Dungeoneer, there it is. Why aren't we yielding through this turn? If we draw a green source, we can afford the crop rotate, because 2 more on it isn't much. And we can go and get Yavimaya. Okay, it costs 4 now. But we can still afford that. Is this going to get bigger? A forest. Okay, this is very good for us. This gets us Primeval Titan next turn, which sounds good to me. So we're going to get bashed for a decent chunk this turn. But we get to cast Primeval Titan next turn as long as they don't disrupt our hand with Peacekeeper or Elite Spellbinder, I think it's called. Okay, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this could be 12 damage. So we will have to go and get ourselves a Glacial Chasm next turn, I suspect. Opponent's got less time on the clock than me. So I clearly learned from the previous round. There's another Dungeoneer. Palace Jailer. Okay, that's fine. Not great, but fine. So we'll cast this Crop Rotation. And we'll sacrifice this land. Go and get ourselves Yavimaya. We have a Force of Vigor. That doesn't really do anything on this board. But I'll tell you what does do stuff on this board is Primeval Titan. So this is 3 mana. It's another 3 mana. Take these green ones here. So we'll get this guy. Yes, we'll use his ability. So what do we actually want to survive? So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So this is a lot of damage. So we do have to get the Glacial Chasm. The question is, do we get... This is 3, 6, 7. So if we get Eye of Ugin now, we still have 2 mana up if we want to crop rotate something else here. So we will sacrifice our forest. So we can crop rotate our Glimmerpost into a Cloudpost. And that gives us 3, 6, 9 mana next turn, which can go into the Eye of Ugin. No, we can't do it actually because it costs 3 more. So that's just us done for the turn. Alright. So let's see if they know about the trap or not. They do know about the trap hitting us through Glacial Chasm, sure. So this puts us to 4. What we can do is we can endurance our own Glacial Chasm back into our deck. So we can find it with the Primeval Titan when it attacks again. Which isn't a terrible play. So 3, 6, 7 this turn. Sure, you can get some Monarchy goodness going. Okay, so I have to pay 2 life this turn. A Green Sun Zenith. That's a pretty good one. That does let us set up the Ramunap, or it also lets us set up the Primeval Titan. So how much is this? So we tap this for 3. And this is 6. Needs to be 7, 8. So this should be for 6, yes. So we'll go and get ourselves a little Primeval Titan, which can get us a Thespian stage and a Glimmerpost. Wait, let's get the Primeval Titan first. Sure. So then we get some nice abilities after this. So I think I do want a Glimmerpost just to survive here. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it'll be 5, 10 mana. So that's 7 we throw through there. So if we actually just get... I'm worried that they can just double bubble us with the going through their arena a bit more. So I think this is fine, right? So this is 5. So it's 5, 10, 15. So how much mana do we need? We need 7 to tutor and 13 to cast. That's 20. So 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Swords, Plowshares on our Primeval Titan. Sure. So we can attack with the Primeval Titan, which will make all of our Cloudposts tap for more. We just need 1 more mana. So if we draw a land as well, we can do it. Actually, no, this can pay for the... Oh no, this can't tap itself, so I do still need more mana for this. Palace Jailer. So we're going to lose our Primeval Titan here, which is a little bit annoying. But we can afford to pay for the Glacial Chasm for another turn. Because it's only got 2 count. It's only got 1 counter on that. Every time we get a Glimmerpost, it massively changes the clock that our opponent has. Okay, we've spent more time on our clock now. We're behind, so we need to step up again. I don't want to lose this to time again. Yes, I'd like to pay. Vesuva. Put this into play. This can copy a Cloudpost. So we can 7. So this is 5. So we've got another 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana there. And this costs. So we just go and get Ulamog here. We can cast Ulamog here. So we tap this one, tap this, this. What am I doing? I don't need to tap all those. Okay, what do we need to blow up here? Blow this up because it's hitting crop rotation. We blow this up because you can't block it. And then we have a spare crop rotation now as well if we need it. Okay. So we can flash in the Endurance. We can crop rotate this away and then shuffle in our library with an Endurance if we need to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6, 12, 18, 20. So yeah, so we can make Emrakul and cast it next turn. And we can hold up the crop rotation for Karakas, so we can just loop that over and over again and our opponent will lose the game. Now, they can have Solitude, which can kill Emrakul, but they will need 2 of them if I have the... Okay, so there's a Solitude. So this can kill our Ulamog. So I think we're incentivized to sacrifice something here. But what do we sacrifice is the question. If we lose one of these, we're still going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5, 10, 15, 20. So I think we can afford to do that. So we will pay a green, crop rotation, paying 1, and we will sacrifice this land. We'll go and get ourselves a Karakas. We will return this legendary creature to our hand. Okay, we got 5 minutes. I think we can close this one out. Another Solitude. Sure. Okay, we are done for this turn, so we can just let this go. This gains us way more life that we can pay into the Glacial Chasm, though. Like, we're showing Emrakul on board with a Karakas, so they should be scooping pretty soon. They do get another draw off the Monarchs. They could have 2. They could have another Solitude. What have they exiled here? No Solitude there. White Prime Adventurer. Sure, this gets them back into the dungeon, but this is their last turn of the game. This will take us for 6. That's fine. And playing 3 cards in hand. So yeah, they can't beat the Emrakul Karakas loop. Well, they actually no, they can still because they got 4 cards. Yeah, I'll play that just in case. Cast Emrakul. We will not pay the cumulative upkeep this time. Let's see what permanents go. The way they can actually beat us this turn is if they have the removal spell for the Emrakul and wait for us to bounce it, but then we will gain 15 life when they won't be able to kill us on the backswing. And we get to make a Kozilek, which also has Annihilator. We're also getting the Monarch and the Undercity this turn, which gives us a Primeval Titan back. Yeah, our opponent is very dead. And we've got enough minutes to play this out, so I don't think we're in danger of losing. Get Forest. We're now the Monarch. We get this guy. I'd like to use his ability, please. And we'll get Tabernacle and Glimmerpost. And then we will... Okay, we're just going to go get Kozilek there as well. So yeah, so I think this matchup is alright. Like, sometimes on the play it can be a bit annoying, but I think for the most part what we're doing just goes over the top. And Glacial Chasm, because they don't impact your lands with this deck, they really struggle against some of the things we're doing. We just get free roll with Tabernacle and our Cloudposts. So I think this matchup is good, and I'm really annoyed we lost that round due to timeout. Right, let's go into the final round. We're on the play for the final round, and this hand seems good. We've got Once Upon a Time to fix the holes in it as well. So let's cast this for free and see what we get. None of these are particularly great, to be honest. I think we just take a Forest here. Not very exciting at all. Play this out named Wasteland. The reason we're doing this is because we want to play the Reclaimer next turn. Mox Opal and a Scalding Tarn. Okay, our opponent looks like they're probably playing the Epic Storm. No, they're playing some sort of red-blue 8-cast. Third Path Iconoclast. Okay, we've got some new spice coming our way. Wow, this is really hard to pass up, isn't it? Just bouncing there. Guy, have they got anything? They've got their opals and stuff. Yeah, I think we just send it home. Like, the longer the game goes, the better for us. I've said that a lot today, but that's what happens when you're the deck hard casting 15 mana cards. Although we're a long way off of getting multiple mana off of our lands. So play the Emery again, we play out this land, we go and get the Elf. We have a Reclamation Sage though, so we can definitely mess our opponent up in this matchup. Okay, so Jeskai explains the Arid Mesa. Expressive Iteration, yep, they're also just playing good cards. Solid maneuver. If they don't play the Emery out, then we don't have to use our Karakas. It's kind of like a bit of a prisoner's dilemma for them. Okay, so they are playing out the Emery, so we do have to keep our Karakas open. I'm just going to mill more and more of their library. We're going to get to see their whole deck, maybe. Okay, the Glimmerpost is good here. This goes away. This gets cast for 1. We get the elf. Now our opponent might well have some way of removing our elf. They're in red-white, so I have to imagine some amount of Lightning Bolt, Galvanic Blast even for this deck, or just a good old-fashioned Source to Plowshare. We're not doing anything on this turn, so we'll yield through it. Let's be efficient with our clock. I want to not time out again. It's a Plateau. Third Path, Iconoclast. This is not an artifact creature in and of itself. Jeskai Ascendancy. Okay. What does this do? I remember this being broken once upon a time in Standard. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creature you control get +1/+1 until end of turn, untap those creatures. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw a card and discard a card. Cool. Well, my opponent's deck is sweet, whatever it is. So, this time we'll play this out. We don't need to bounce a token here. We can turn our Glimmerpost into a... We can turn our Forest into a Cloudpost. And I think the best thing we can do, though, if your opponent's going to play a weird nonsense card, you want to destroy it. Okay, they got Force of Will out of it. Yikes, okay, this is going to escalate, isn't it? We just yield through this turn. Yield through our opponent's turn until we get to blocks. And then we can block stuff. So this is probably going to get really out of hand really quickly, I would imagine. We do have Force of Vigors for this matchup, so I think that'll be quite good. And Mindbreak Trap might almost be pretty good here because they just funnel out so many spells. Expressive Iteration, yep. So they just sort of built their own Monastery Mentor, really, where they're getting the prowess. But Jeskai Ascendancy gives all of their stuff prowess and untaps. It untaps all your creatures and gives them prowess. So with Emry, this lets you just go infinite, which is pretty cool. Alright. Alright, our opponent has said they'll send us the list when we're done here. So that's pretty good. We're in a not great spot here. We do have the Expedition map, which can find us good old-fashioned Glacial Chasm, which comes into play so often here. Are we dead this turn? We're not far off of it, right? We're probably going to have to block with our Elvish Reclaimer at this rate, because these are going to be 7s. This is going to be... yeah. This deck is cool. Opponent's got a good one here. So they're trying to get these up to 10, and then... well, they need to be 11, right? Well, this one can... yeah, they need to be 11s. So I have to block here, otherwise I lose the game. Not really where I want it to be. So, how do we win this game? Glacial Chasm is going to have to be involved, I think. Okay, Thespian Stage is a good one. Let's play out this Expedition map. If they counter this, then we lose. Okay. So we go and get Glacial Chasm. We play Glacial Chasm. We need to sacrifice a land here. I think we're sacrificing the forest. Although we need 2 forests to play Primeval Titan. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, lordy. I think it has to be the forest. So we can get the Glacial Chasm this turn. We get the Thespian Stage next turn. Sure. Now, if they have a way of removing our Glacial Chasm, we just die. We have to pay. Green Sun Zenith would be a great draw. Yes, a Green Sun Zenith. Now, this has to resolve, is the other issue. How many mana? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can get Ramunap Excavator here. We need to play out our forest there. I'm not seeing a lot of removing our opponent's deck, so maybe our guy will stick a Monastery Mentor. Yep. Another Monastery Mentor. Like, if our Glacial Chasm goes down, we lose the game. That's a given. Now, if we attack once with Ulamog, we win the game. So that's what we're playing to. But we're in a bit of a bind here. So we have to play out... we just yield through this turn. So we have to let the Glacial Chasm die. And then we have to play the Glacial Chasm out again. Then we'll take 2. Then we play out the Thespian Stage. Then we let the Glacial Chasm die, but copying it first with the Thespian Stage. And then we could assemble a loop. But we are sacrificing lands. So we're not really getting anywhere until we draw something useful. Okay, so we have to play this. And what are we sacrificing here? Sacrifice the Glimmerpost. Because we can keep rebuying it and gaining more. Now, if our opponent doesn't have removal in their deck, then they can't win the game. Now, I have a strange feeling that my opponent might have a single Thassa's Oracle in their deck. Because they have the ability to draw through their entire deck. But what my opponent is doing here is pretty cool. The turn we tried to kill the Jeskai Ascendancy, we would have been better off just like crop rotating and stuff like that. But we didn't know they had a counterspell in hand. But we do get to see like their whole deck here. So they can... there has to be a Thassa's Oracle in their deck, surely. And the fact is they're getting to see their whole deck as well. They're not it's not going into their graveyard, it's going through their hand, so they can filter to make sure they always have it. Wowzers, bowsers. They have to run a Thassa's Oracle. So we'll pay 2 life this time. Oh no, my opponent doesn't have a Thassa's Oracle in their deck. They say they've got an out in their deck. I don't think I have an out. Oh, that's a bit awkward for them. I have a lock now. My opponent's deck is cool and I like it. They're going to see their whole deck soon and find out if they do have an out or not. But I think the one-off Thassa's Oracle is definitely what you want in this deck for situations like this. Or just like Ensnaring Bridge or something that gets in your way. I think having a way of just being able to combo out and win the game, because Emry will let you draw your entire deck. Deck is very sweet. We've only got 8 cards left, so they'll find out soon enough. My opponent has a fetch land. They can look through their deck and see if they have an out. But I think we can just pay the life here. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're pretty close to having Green Sun Zenith, right? Is there any other good targets we have? Let's play this out. And our opponent's end step, we turn our Thespian stage into Yield Until here. So our opponent's end step, we turn our Thespian stage into a Cloudpost, and then we can Primeval Titan. Coming 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be a counter spell. Yikes, there's a lot of triggers. Oh, poor opponent. There's one there I need to get as well. Let's sacrifice a land, so we sacrifice the Glimmerpost, so we can do the loop and bring it back. Oh, I feel bad for our opponent. Just wish they had something that they could use to look through their deck. Okay. So, post board, we're looking at Force of Vigors. These are going to be very good. They blow up their principal thing. Carpet Flowers is actually going to give us some mana, so I'm certainly down for a bit of Carpet Flowers action. The Mindbreak Trap is going to be useful, and the Endurances are probably... like, basically, all of this is good. Pithing Needle can stop Emry, but not a lot else. Bojuka Bog is fine. Boseiju is good. Cavern is good. Problem is, our deck is too good here. What a problem to have. So I don't want crop rotation against a counterspell deck. That's a given. So crop rotation probably becomes these Force of Vigors. Now, Once Upon a Times are kind of important to us, but I think just having these things are going to be better. So I think just having these Carpet Flowers is going to be good. And Pithing Needle for Emry is the only thing it's for, but that seems good because they can go infinite with Emry. So I kind of need to make sure that they can't do that. We don't want to remove too many tutors from our deck. The Endurance kind of does a similar thing. Do we even want Mindbreak Traps? Mindbreak Traps does let us stop them mid-combo. Are we really bringing in these instead of Expedition Maps? We're just going to try and Elvish Reclaimer our way to victory. Or is the Expedition Map better than Elvish Reclaimer? Because the Expedition Map is plus... this just shapes cards. This can get us an additional land. Oh, I don't know. This is hard. All right. We have Carpet Flowers. We have Green Sun Zenith. We have Pithing Needle. These are all things that I'm happy to try and resolve. So we try our Carpet Flowers on turn 1, and this will help us get up to Primeval Titan, and this can be our tutor spell. Now, it has to resolve, but such is life. Okay. I don't seem to have a turn 1 play. That's good for us. So this turn, we can play out the Carpet Flowers this turn. Kind of should have left one Elvish Reclaimer in the deck, at least, if we're playing Green Sun Zenith in our deck. That was an error. So we will not use this. We will play our Cloudpost. Haven't seen dazes from our opponent, so we did see the whole deck. So we're going to play this. They're going to crap both their fetches, which is then going to give us 2 mana for the Flooded Strand. Oh no, they're getting non-islands. Very rude. Okay, so this is the Emry. And then we pass. It's going to want to give us mana. If we had an Elvish Reclaimer, maybe that's useful. Definitely made a mistake with my sideboarding. But that's fine. I've only played this deck once before, and it's a learning curve for everyone. Monastery Mentor. Yep, that's a good creature. Maybe they've got like a transitional sideboard plan. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. So we're 1 off of playing the lad. I don't think we want to get any of our other lads, do we? No. I think we just play out this. And if they get another island, then we get to start doing our thing and training Primeval Titans. So we can do that into Green Sun Zenith. So the Jeskai Ascendancy turn. Red, blue. Just an expressive iteration. Sure, that's fine. There's not actually that much difference between our clock, which is very impressive for our opponent considering how much he was putting on the stack in the previous game. I am quite slow playing this deck. I'm going to get another island for us. They might be. Could get a plateau here. Oh, they got another island. Carpet Flower's going to be good here. Third path, Iconoclast. Sure. And they got Mox Opal to follow up. This is a pretty good turn. These are artifact creatures, which could be important. So we're going to take a little bit of a bash this turn. Now, our opponent's got 3 cards in hand. If one of them is a Primeval Titan, that's not going to... not Primeval Titan. Yes, can I have some green mana, please? If one of them is a Force of Will, that's going to be pretty bad for us. Oh, wow. It resolved. That's pretty big news for us. So, do we already need to be Glacial Chasming? Maybe we do. Which is a sorry state of affairs. So if we get... No, if we get Tabernacle and Cloudpost or Glimmerpost here. Difficult to say which of these would be best. I really don't want to die to random stuff. Let's try the Glimmerpost here. So the Tabernacle should cause them quite a bit of trouble here. They're definitely going to pay for their Mentor. Now, if they've got a bunch of zeros, they can pay for all of them and then just chain a load of stuff together. But if we get to attack once with Primeval Titan, then I think we should win the game. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 if I go and get some Cloudposts. So we can cast Ulamog next turn. Exile target creature. So we're going to gain some life here. I'd rather have been able to attack with my Primeval Titan, but such is life sometimes. Hopefully they don't have just a string of zeros here. But they don't have the ability to chain them with Jeskai Ascendancy. God, this deck's so cool. Yep. From what they've... Seems unlikely they can kill us this turn. Like if they were... Oh, they are floating mana. Okay, that's... Maybe they can keep cantripping, like Brainstorm. It's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 they're hitting us for this turn. There's the Emery. Sure. So there's 9. That's fine. Okay, so we'll use our Carpet Flowers. Yes. I would like green mana, please. We've got 3 mana here. 4, 5, 6. Cast this guy. So we would like to use this, and we will get ourselves a Cloudpost, and I think we probably just need the Glacial Chasm at this point. And we'll sacrifice one of our forests. It's 3 mana. We'll play out this Pithing Needle, which is already on Emery, isn't it? But our opponent could have a removal spell for it, so I'd quite like to make sure that we have Emery covered twice over. Play out our Dark Depths, which maybe could have been normally sacrificed, actually, thinking about it. And let me say go. Our opponent's in a pretty tough spot here. Engine in their deck looks pretty cool, though. Right, so they're paying for all their triggers still. I imagine they'll just leave the Iconoclast and the Mentor and let the Monk die because I have the Chasm. Which looks like a Jeskai Ascendancy. That's what they came here to do. Cumulative up to pay 2 life. Do I need to pay 2 life this turn? We do not need to pay 2 life this turn. We will not use Carpet Flowers ability. We will attack with this guy though. So this is going to get us Cloudpost and Eye of Ugin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so we're going to cast an Ulamog this turn. Yes, we'd like green mana, please. So we'll use 3 and this to Green Suns. Let's get another Primeval Titan, which will get us Glimmerpost, just to make sure we're healthy. And this taps for 6. Wait, have I thought I had mana floating from this. Wait, did I not have mana floating? 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, we're 1 short. Oh no, I messed this turn up. Oh no. If I'd have known that, I would have got a Yavimaya. I'm going to pay for all these things, then we're going to blow up their permanents. Okay, so they can't do the silly combo turn on us this turn. And we got plenty of life to work with. I think we can yield. Yeah, I made a mistake last turn. We should have been casting the Ulamog to blow up Mentor and third past Iconoclast, and then we blow those 2 up with the Force of Vigor, so we get to get rid of all of their permanents, pretty much. So we got 6 of these. This is 6, 12, 18, 19, 20. So we go into Emrakul and cast it. 20 is the magic number here. We can attack first, actually, and get more Cloudposts so we can get Emrakul and cast Ulamog. Yeah, like we've got it all. The game's won. It's just going through the motions now. People not attacking your mana base is a very good sign for the old Cloudpost deck. Okay, so they have scooped that up. All right, so we secured 4-1, and it felt pretty fine, to be honest. The only match we lost was the one where we timed out, and we had the win on board. So, yeah, this deck is very good, is my takeaway. And I think in a format where you're getting stompy and stuff, I think this deck gets even better. Few caveats. I would very much like to have a Dryad Arbor in this deck. We did lose a game because we didn't have Dryad Arbor in the deck, I think. Or we were going... Yeah, I think we did lose a game against a stompy deck because we didn't have a Dryad Arbor in our deck. So if we'd have had that Dryad Arbor, we probably could have won that game. So that's definitely something that we need. I like having 3 Titans. It means you're harder to get painted out of the game as well. I think I might even just swap an expedition map, one expedition map for a Dryad Arbor. Other than that, I think the main deck is brilliant. I think this deck is great. Yeah, this should have been a 5-0. It's entirely on me for playing slowly. The sideboard is very simple but effective. Like Carpet Flowers in matchups where they've got loads of islands, like Delver and Wastelands. It's kind of doing double duty there. I think it's pretty good. I need to play more matchups to work out if the sideboard is right. But yeah, this deck is probably one of the best decks I've played on the channel, in my opinion. I think it's very strong. I think it's actually quite well positioned right now because there's a lot less Wasteland decks kicking around. I think, although like the hot band decks do run a couple of Wastelands, but again, we have these Pithing Needles. So yeah, this deck is just really good and you should play it. I think it's, yeah, +1 Dryad Arbor. That's all I want to say. All right, I think now we're done with that. If you have stuck all the way through, why not subscribe to my channel? It doesn't cost you anything. It's the best way of helping me out. If you already have, why not give a like or a comment or just send a link to somebody who likes Legacy because, you know, the more people watching Legacy, the better because we get more people playing and it's the best format of Magic. So let's try and do our best to get as many people supporting it and it won't hurt to try and help me get monetized from my perspective. All right. With that plug fully finished, this was a very successful Depthcember deck. So I would like to thank you all for watching and goodbye.